I will say that Boston is a very tough city, and I really appreciate there are tons of resources at Harvard in order to build community. And so I think that that helped me get really acclimated to a city where I didn't know anybody, and I was sort of like looking for different ways to connect. It started with taking in-person classes. So I think that was sort of the catalyst that got me engaged. And I know
Mhm.
that we've been talking a lot about more startup-focused organizations on campus. But there are plenty of cultural or community organizations. And I think it's those kinds of things that help me like find some people to sit with at lunch or to go grab a drink after class. And so I think that that kind of helped me get acclimated. And then to your point about this journey and the transition, I started to use the iLab resources, and it was actually a class that I was taking with Irene Shabari, a management class, where there was this on-campus requirement. So what you guys will notice is as you get to certain milestones within the program, there's a requirement to spend a certain amount of time on campus. It's usually like a few weekend sessions, days in a row. And it was through this class where I was building a startup, but I didn't have the technical chops to build the code. And I actually met my co-founder, who was a VP at Microsoft. And it was funny. We did a tour of the iLab. I'd shown him all the resources, given him a preview of what I was working on. And we just had so much alignment that he decided to make an investment and to like join the team. And so I think that like the journey isn't linear, I think is what a lot of folks will say. You'll go through ups and downs, but it was really like those early stages of building community that kind of led me on my startup journey. And then the transition to JP Morgan was honestly more luck than anything else. My startup was sort of winding down at the same time that JP Morgan had this big opportunity in the startup space where there were banks that were going through financial trouble, and a lot of those assets were going to JP Morgan. And so once again, the relationships and contacts that I made through the innovation lab, I was able to reach out to someone from the JP Morgan team directly and get an opportunity that way. Whereas reaching out anonymously via LinkedIn or sending a cold email would have been a much more difficult proposition. And so I would challenge everyone to like use your classmates, use your professors, use your community that you build at Harvard in order to help you find what that next opportunity could be, because you never really know who you're going to meet.